What started back in February in West Palm Beach, Florida, comes to a conclusion in Boston, Massachusetts. Today is game 162 as the Astros wrap up the regular season. This is literally a playoff preview. The Astros know they'll play the Red Sox in the postseason, and today, both teams wrapping up the regular season from Fenway Park. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our final day of Astros baseball. I'm Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. Blummer, what a season it was for 100 wins and a postseason.
It's been a lot of fun. It's been a great trip. This is a great team, and it's going to be even more fun watching them moving forward.
We have the AL West champion Houston Astros. They clinched a couple of Sundays ago. They'll be taking on the Red Sox, who just wrapped things up last night.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I know those guys in the clubhouse are looking forward to finishing off this season. They have waited for this moment to go to the playoffs. 100 wins, maybe one more today, but they have accomplished so much throughout the course of the season. They have got to be extremely excited about facing this Red Sox team for real.
Yankees and Twins will play the wild card game in New York on Tuesday. Then the winner will face the Indians beginning on Thursday as well. We will be at Minute Maid Park Thursday and Friday for the opening of that Astros-Red Sox series as fans. One final game, though, on AT&T Sportsnet. As we come up, we will show you some of the magic moments of 2017.
The story of a great team isn't just about the playoffs. It's written one game,
safe at home plate. Astros take the lead.
one play at a time. A long, hard season of working, laughing, and fighting together. And when the dust has settled, and you're standing at the mountaintop,
The Astros have won the Central Division title.
you celebrate. Because those moments don't come around very often.
Marwin Gonzalez has hit a grand slam.
The Astros have written an amazing story in 2017.
The throw by Jake is in time. Astros win.
And they've earned their place at the mountaintop.
This ball is hit well to left field, and on the first batter of the season, George Springer hits a home run.
It's been a heck of a season, Houston. Enjoy the moment.
It has been quite a year for sure. 100 victories for only the second time in team history as the Astros wrap up the 2017 campaign with a day game. It's a very beautiful fall Sunday afternoon here in Boston as the Astros and Red Sox will play the final game of this 4-game series and what could be the 4th game of 9 consecutive games. A.J. Hinch knows his opponent will be the Boston Red Sox in the first round of the postseason. And here is AJ's starting lineup on this final day presented by Southwest Airlines. You won't see many regulars in there, but you will see the American League batting champion Jose Altuve leading off. Tony Kemp will bat second. Yuli Gurriel has a chance to hit 300. He's in there today. Carlos Beltran DHs. Tyler White will play in left field. Marwin Gonzalez, the shortstop, hitting 6th. J.D. Davis over at third base. Juan Centeno gets the start in the final game. And Derek Fisher is in right field.
Hector Velasquez will be going for John Farrell and the Boston Red Sox here on this game 162. Both teams understand where they stand. This is a game just to get through some of the motions to get this season over with so they can start playing for real. But Hector gets that start, 3rd one on the season. He has a 3-1 record. He is a 4-pitch pitcher, does not throw very hard, averaging 89.5 miles an hour on the fastball. Also has a slider, curveball, and a split-fingered changeup.
So we may see a couple of at-bats today from Jose Altuve coming in batting .347. He has wrapped up the batting crown. He is up by 17 points in that race, which has really not been a race for the last few months. He also has wrapped up the most hits in the American League. He swings with the first pitch and grounds one to third. Rafael Devers is there to retire Altuve. 1 pitch and 1 out. We may see some first pitch swinging today.
Altuve setting the tone early. He's got all 200 some of his knocks out of the way, so he's going to be aggressive.
Here's the defense behind Velasquez today. Rajai Davis is in left field. Jackie Bradley Jr., the center fielder. Houston's own Chris Young patrols right field. We saw Devers make that first play. Devin Marrero is the shortstop. Brock Holt at second base. Sam Travis at first. And Sandy Leon is behind the plate. Here's Tony Kemp. He plays center field today and takes a pitch for a ball inside. 1-0. Kemp having a good road trip, 4 for 9 on this trip, has that average up to 219 on the season, coming off an MVP season for the Fresno Grizzlies at the AAA level as he flies to left for out number 2. 3 pitches, 2 outs.
Now these shadows are going to be a little bit of an issue. Baby Starkey's first game is at Fenway, not too shabby.
Go, Michael Starkey.
Yeah, that looks game ready. Got the road blue jersey on.
Well, the Astros losing yesterday, and in the process, the Red Sox clinched the AL East. There's really nothing to be decided around the major leagues today. Every spot in the postseason has been determined. There's a couple of marks, individual marks that people are going to be shooting for. Giancarlo Stanton is going for 60 home runs. The guy at the plate right here, Yuli Gurriel, going for a 300 season. He needs to go at least 3 for 4. He starts out by going deep to center field, and it's off the wall. Yuli heading to second base, and he will get in there with a double standing. Yuli hit that ball well to center field, and now he only has to go either 2 for 2 or 2 for 3 the rest of the day.
Hunter M.D. Anderson strike zone. You see a fastball right down the middle, and Yuli knows what to do with it, and of course he hit a double, setting that franchise rookie record for doubles in a season.
42nd double for Yuli, and that pretty much wraps up the team title for most doubles. He was 2 ahead of both Alex Bregman and Jose Altuve coming in. Quite a year for Yuli Gurriel in his first full major league season.
Worked hard, earned it.
Carlos Beltran, the batter, takes a strike. Alan Porter behind the plate calling balls and strikes on this game 162. Beltran had some really good ABs here on Friday night. Hit the ball hard 4 times.
Yeah, between him and Evan Gattis, they had high exit velos and no hits to show for it.
Slices one into the crowd. 0-2 the count. Carlos batting .246 left-handed, 13 home runs, 44 runs batted in. Overall .230 with 14 home runs and 51 RBIs. Pitch up high for a ball. It's 1-2. Beltran returning to the postseason with the Astros for the first time since that remarkable run in 2004. Overall, this will be Carlos Beltran's 6th postseason appearance. Swing and a miss. First strikeout of the game for Hector Velasquez as we head to the bottom half of the first. Bottom half of the first inning, and here's how John Farrell will line things up against Colin McHugh on this final game of the season. Rajai Davis will lead off in left field, followed by Brock Holt. Number 3 hitter today is Christian Vasquez. He'll DH. Rafael Devers, the young third baseman, bats in the cleanup spot. Chris Young is in right field. Jackie Bradley Jr. in center. Sam Travis gets to start at first base. Andy Leon behind the plate. And Devin Marrero bats ninth and plays shortstop.
Right-hander Colin McHugh going for your Houston Astros. On the season, making that 12th start, 57 1/3 innings. He's got 54 punch-outs, 2 earned runs or less allowed in 6 of those last 7 starts. Interesting start for him. He is undefeated in September in his career.
It puts that perfect 15-0 mark and a sub-3 ERA on the line in this game 162, which really doesn't have a ton of significance in terms of either team and their postseason aspirations. They both know they're in. The Red Sox got to celebrate after the game yesterday as Rajai Davis just missed a fair ball down the right field line. Instead, it turns into a foul, and it's strike 1. Would have been interesting if the Astros were able to win that game yesterday and send this Red Sox team into a decision. They probably would have had to pitch Chris Sale today to try and avoid a potential game 163 because the Yankees kept winning over the weekend after they dropped a game Thursday, winning Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, that would have been extremely interesting to see how that would have unfolded for the Boston Red Sox.
Instead, we will probably see Chris Sale on Thursday at Minute Maid Park for game 1. Plummer had mentioned the possibility, some rumors going around, that he could start game 2 and then game 5, depending on how the Red Sox want to shake things out. 0-2 the count. McHugh making his 12th start of the season, the 30-year-old, uncertain about his postseason situation. He knows if he pitches well here, there's nothing more that he can do about the decision that needs to be made, when right now you have 6 options for 4 starting rotation spots. Ground ball towards the hole, deep from the hole. No chance with Davis running for Marwin Gonzalez, and that'll be an infield hit. Season tickets are on sale now for the 2018 season. Purchase now and reap early benefits like guaranteed 2017 postseason priority access. For more information, visit astros.com/season tickets or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Brock Holt, the batter, with a runner on base to start this game for the Red Sox. Every game in the major league starting at the exact same time. That happened last year for the first time. I think it's kind of a cool idea. It didn't work out this year where there's really an advantage for anybody, and if a season came down to the wire, you kind of like the fact that everybody has equal footing on that last day. Late starts on the East Coast in terms of 3:05. Over in San Francisco, Giants playing an early game. The Angels playing an early game in Anaheim. There goes Rajai Davis. And here with the later start, the shadows a little bit of a factor early as the mound is bathed in sunshine and shadows between the mound and home plate.
It's always fun as a hitter, but you're right. I think it is kind of interesting that Major League Baseball has put that on the schedule so where everybody is playing at the same time. We've had experience with that last game of the season actually having impacts all over the league.
Everything settled last night with the Red Sox winning, clinched the East. The Brewers lost, and that clinched the second wild card spot in the National League for Colorado. They will play in Arizona. 3 teams end up going from the National League West to the postseason. And only one team in the American League West, the Astros, going to the postseason, and only one team in the AL West will end up with a .500 record or better. Second place Angels come in at 79-82. Angels play Seattle today, and the Astros have a 21-game lead in the American League West, which right now would stand for tied for 5th largest margin in baseball history since 1902. If they get to a 22-game lead by the end of the day, there will only be one team that's ever had a larger division lead at the end of the season since 1902, and that's the '95 Cleveland Indians. A.J. Hinch's group led by double digits from the end of May all the way through the end of the season. 2-2 the count to Brock Holt. Now will drift into the crowd. Colin making his 6th career start against the Red Sox. 42 hits allowed in 28 1/3 innings. 2-2 with a 4.76 ERA coming in against Boston.
Holt having an extended AB here. Just getting a piece of everything that Colin McHugh has to offer. Calling on the season. Fastball, curveball, cut, fastball every once in a while. That slider has proven to be a big pitch for him since coming off the DL.
Into center field, Kemp over to make the play. Davis will scamper back to first after Holt lines out to center. Well, Colin knows the situation. He's about as cerebral as they get out there on the mound, and he's aware that Brad Peacock has pitched extremely well, that Charlie Morton tied for the team lead in wins and has really pitched well lately, that Lance McCullers Jr. American League Pitcher of the Month and an All-Star. AL Pitcher of the Month back in May and an All-Star. And you know, Colin's not sure what's going to happen for the rotation starting on Thursday, but right now he may be a guy on the outside looking in.
It's amazing to think about. It was his injury in spring training that allowed Brad Peacock to actually be on this ball club.
Colin, trouble in spring training with the right shoulder tendonitis. Made a rehab start and then had a little elbow impingement that put him on the DL for a lengthier stay. Brad Peacock making the team out of the bullpen, and now he's become one of the more reliable starters in baseball. Two 2-0 the count to Vasquez. Colin making his 102nd career start with Houston. Vasquez fouls out of play. It's 2-1. Vasquez DHing today, .351 batting average at home. That is the second best batting average. Josh Reddick, of the guys qualified, not with the team here in Boston, has the best overall home batting average on the season. Vasquez slowly towards third. Davis to second for one. Altuve's return, not in time, says Joe West, for the double play. Vasquez reaches on the fielder's choice. There's 2 outs and a runner on first.
Out in front, rolls it over. J.D. Davis does a good job moving to his left. Nice easy flip to Altuve. Give Vasquez credit for hustling down that line, extending this inning.
Rafael Devers takes a called strike. Devers having quite a rookie season. 284 overall with 10 home runs, 28 RBIs, 314 at home this year. He's a young third baseman, just 20 years of age, who has come to the big leagues and not only hit consistently, hit with some power, played a solid third, and he's been hitting left-hand pitching as well. Takes a pitch high and away. It's 1-2. McHugh gets through the first with a strikeout of Devers. 1 hit, 1 man left on base.
Fenway Park, we go to the top of the second. A.J. Hinch putting his lineup together with a few things in mind, but also giving some of these guys that we see every day the day off before they get ready to play in some of the most intense games of the entire season, postseason coming up. But they are keeping it light today. It's their final day, really, to be able to do that before the really hard work begins with that first workout on Tuesday. We'll be looking out for Jose Altuve, who should get another at bat here today, who is looking for his 40th double. Yuli Gurriel, as Todd mentioned, needs a couple of hits to maybe hit 300. But other than that, Tyler White getting a shot out in left field is going to be fun for him with the green monster behind him, guys. He took some fly balls earlier today. And, you know, you look at the dugout and all the guys that have had an opportunity to play with this team during September. A lot of these guys will not be with the team when they put that playoff roster together. So those guys definitely soaking it all in, enjoying a very special season that they've put together this far. Todd?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun plane ride back to Houston. Everybody realizing they are ramping up for Thursday's game 1 of the ALDS. Some of those guys who don't make the postseason roster, as Julia mentioned, they're still going to get a chance to work out. There's no such thing as a pure taxi squad in baseball like there is in football, but there are opportunities in the postseason to change your roster around. So you may see some guys head down to West Palm Beach, get a few workouts in to stay fresh, even if they aren't on the postseason roster, getting ready for the Boston Red Sox on Thursday. Tyler White takes a called third strike, and he goes down looking. That is the second strikeout for Velasquez.
Today's Fan Cam is presented by GulloAuto.com. Dallas Keuchel throwing that sim game before the game today, getting himself right. Looked pretty good. I believe J.D. Davis, Colin Moran taking swings off Dallas Keuchel.
Got to see a couple of righties, got to see Derek Fisher step in there. And if you're going to throw a simulated game, beautiful Sunday in Fenway Park is not a bad place to do it. Dallas getting a workout in before the game. Marwin Gonzalez bats. AJ said Marwin could play the whole game or close to the whole game. It just gets to the point when you look at how many infielders you have behind Marwin, there's not a ton. Wants to give Carlos Correa the day off. He'd like to give Alex Bregman the day off. Somebody has to play. It's Altuve early, although I think we will see Altuve spelled after a couple of at-bats. But Marwin may end up playing most of the day, if not the whole game. One pitch is fouled back. Astros still have Colin Moran on the bench, so they can finesse Moran into the game to take Jose Altuve out.
We've also got Tyler White out there in left field. He can move around a little bit. Decide to bring in Cameron Maybin.
If Maybin gets in and he gets on base, you would think he would try to steal. He's one behind in the American League race for the most stolen bases this year. But Merrifield of Kansas City has 34. Maybin has 33. Altuve has 32. Marwin's pretty much locked in, barring like an 0 for 5 or 6 today. He's pretty much locked into a 300 season. He was there almost all of June and July and August. Late August, he dropped below 300, and it wasn't until this road trip when he went 4 for 5 in that first game against Texas that he got back over 300. And since that 4 for 5 performance, he has been 9 for 19 on this trip and has a .303 average coming in. It's been a remarkable year for Marwin, playing all over the field and hitting 300 and leading his team in runs batted in.
Well, there are a lot of guys that have career years, but this guy right here is the epitome of having that career year. Last 4 or 5 years, really been that super utility type guy, but has been thrust into a spotlight really by his bat. Moving all over the infield, moving all over the outfield. He'll probably be the starting left fielder for the Astros in the postseason. But the reason for that is he's good on defense, but he's even better at the plate this season.
His flexibility playing all those different positions allowed A.J. Hinch to carry an extra arm in the bullpen and have a 3-man bench.
And that's really something that doesn't get talked about much. You're so right. He's a right-handed hitter, he's a left-handed hitter, and he's basically 8 different positions if you need it.
Marwin had starts at first, second, short, third, left, right. He's the only player in MLB history to play multiple games at those 6 positions and also end up with a 30 double 20 home run season. The only player.
6 different positions. It's unbelievable.
And quite often we would see him play 3 different positions in a 3-game series as a starter. Finally got to the point where he qualified with the at-bats to reach the top 10 in a lot of categories. He's currently 7th in OPS with a 904 mark. He's 9th in the major leagues in hitting with that 303 mark. And he also leads his team with those 90 runs batted in. Extended a bat for Marwin against the right-hander Hector Velasquez. Marwin fouls this one out of play. Thought he should have hit that one. Velasquez, a guy who spent most of the year at Pawtucket, 19 starts. Acquired him out of the Mexican League. He was pitching for Campeche last year. Went to Monclova for a season after Campeche loaned him over there. But he's been in the Mexican League. 28-year-old getting a chance to pitch for the Red Sox. Did well at Pawtucket, 2.21 ERA, and here he is making his 3rd big league start. Debuted as a starter back on May 18th. Also made a start on June 19th, pitching against the A's and the Royals on the road. This is his first home start. He's not allowed a run here at home out of the bullpen. 4 different appearances, including one back on Thursday to open up this series. Marwin fouls one away and counts 3-2. Velasquez pitched the last inning of that 12-2 game on Thursday. Ball 4. Marwin draws a 1-out walk. Second base runner for the Astros, the Yuli Gurriel double, and now the Marwin walk.
Join the Astros behind the scenes at Minute Maid Park with an Astros ballpark tour. The tour lets you check out areas like the broadcast booth, press box, dugout, scoreboard control room, and more. Visit astros.com/tours to book your tour today.
J.D. Davis gets an at-bat. J.D. playing third base, overall batting .224, 4 home runs in his rookie campaign, 7 runs batted in. Pitch misses outside for ball 1. J.D. hitting his first home run back on August 24th against the Nationals. Since then, a .265 mark. Popped in the air towards right. Chris Young ambles over towards the pesky pole and makes the catch. Marwin's going to tag. Young's throw will not be in time. Marwin in his scoring position. No! He was off the bag. Says the second base umpire Andy Fletcher. Marwin felt like he got pushed off the bag, but he is called out at second.
Pretty aggressive move by Marwin trying to advance. The throw does come in. As he pops up, the glove is on that left thigh. Ends the inning.
Pretty good call. A.J. Hinch is coming out to Alan Porter. Not sure if he's going to want a review or not. It looked like Marwin was on his own pop-up coming off the bag. A.J. is not going to challenge it, and we'll come back with the bottom of the second. Houston Astros baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Bottom half of the second inning, Colin McHugh facing the Houston native Chris Young, who swings and misses. It's 0-1. 34-year-old out of Bel Air High School always has fared well facing the Houston Astros in his career. A lead off the bottom half of the second inning. Astros and Red Sox scoreless. And McHugh ahead 0-2. The Red Sox and the Astros have never met in the postseason until this year. There have been 5 different years where they've both been in the postseason, including 04 and 05, but they've never gone head-to-head. Best of 5 beginning Thursday. That's a called third strike. Alan Porter calls out Chris Young. Back-to-back strikeouts for McHugh to end the first, and now to start the second.
Center fielder, number 19, Jackie Bradley Jr.
If we're measuring them up, Astros versus Red Sox heading into the postseason. Until this game today, they were split as far as wins. But the ERA favoring the Houston Astros, the batting average favoring the Astros, and 5.1 runs per game. And again, these Astros are going to look to try and get ahead on these starters, trying to avoid Kimbrel out of the back end of that bullpen.
You know, the Astros are going to end the season 21-23, 2 games below 500 against left-hand starters. And they should see their share with the Red Sox of left-hand starters, including one of the best in the game in Chris Sale. But when you dive into the numbers, the records don't necessarily indicate that the Astros have done almost as well against left-hand pitching as they have against right-hand pitching this year.
Well, the great thing about the postseason is you wipe all those numbers out, so you get rid of that record. And what the Astros have done here late against a couple of very good left-handed starting pitchers is put up some big numbers. So hopefully that kind of gives them the confidence or translates and pushes itself into the postseason when they do have some tough starts against left-handed pitching, namely in Chris Sale for Game 1.
Called strike to Sam Travis. You know, Carlos Beltran getting the start today against the righty Velasquez. We started to see A.J. Hinch use Carlos more and more strictly as a left-hand hitter. And when you look at the breakdowns of the switch hitters, lefty and righty, the Beltran-Marwin combo has both been more productive left-handed. We might not see Carlos Beltran get too many right-handed at-bats in the postseason.
No, I agree, especially with the way Evan Gattis has been swinging the bat right-handed.
Into center, Kemp comes on and makes a diving catch. Tony Kemp in center field takes one away from Sam Travis.
Hang a spotlight on that one.
Tony Kemp getting a chance to play a little bit in this final road trip of the season.
Late jump with the shadows, recovered nicely.
To show you our final Chevy stroke poll of the season. Thanks for following along at ATT Sportsnet SW. We're on the road. Astros have 52 wins on the road, looking for 53. What's your favorite Astros road game memory this season? The Memorial Day comeback in Minnesota, Marisnick nailing Ellsbury in New York, 19 runs in Toronto for the All-Star break, or Justin Verlander, his incredible debut at Safeco Field. Let us know, or tweet us another game that you remember. I know there's lots, and we're going to be looking back at a few of those throughout today's game. TK.
All right, Julia, we head to the third. Juan Centeno will lead things off. Astros still have a chance for the best road record in the major leagues, matching the Cleveland Indians if they win today. Houston with 52 road wins on the season against 28 losses. Cleveland wrapping up their road schedule 53 and 28. 52 represents more wins than you guys saw the whole first year you broadcast, huh?
Yeah, I was talking to somebody yesterday and they brought that up. It was probably Steve Sparks. But it was hard to believe because we've had such a good run covering these guys on the road, and they've had some unbelievable games like you just saw in our Chevy Stroll poll. So to realize that they have one more win than they did in 2013 is literally mind-blowing. And to be honest, I've selectively erased that from my memory.
There's Centeno into center field with a base hit. Juan Centeno delivers a hit in his first at bat. Jackie Bradley Jr. airmails the throw, but at that point Centeno had already settled on a single. The season started back in Minute Maid Park in Houston, and on April 5th, down to their final strike 2 different times in that game, George Springer took a 2-run deficit and won it with a 3-run home run. He also kicked off the season, Plummer, with a home run, and the guy who shows as much emotion as any on this team began this season with a bang.
And of course it had to happen against the Seattle Mariners, who just continued to take a drubbing from the Houston Astros the rest of the season. But yeah, it was a pretty electric start to the season for the Astros and George Springer.
Springer hitting the first of his 9 leadoff home runs on opening day, and then hitting that walk-off in the first series. It wasn't the greatest start to the Astros season. In fact, they were 4-4 and had a chance. They were down 5 runs in game 9, had a chance to have a sub-500 record for the first time all year. They were able to bounce back in that game in Seattle and never look back. Derek Fisher, the batter, with a 1-1 count. Astros taking over first place in early April and never relinquishing it. April 12th till the end of the season, the Astros were in first. And it was an unusual season in the AL West in that nobody else is going to be at 500 this year. It really looked like Seattle was poised to have a good year. The Angels were improved. Texas was the 2-time defending AL West champions, but just nobody could play consistently well in this division other than the Astros.
Yeah, it's tough to explain. I know that injuries decimated the starting rotations of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim and the Seattle Mariners. But just some minor, what looked like minor adjustments to the Astros lineup turned into major adjustments.
Pitch misses to Fisher. It's 1-2. Check that, 2-2. Fisher made his big league debut earlier this year. Hit a home run in his big league debut on June 14th. Went 2 for 3 in that game. Foul tip caught by Leon. Strikeout number 3 for Velasquez.
The Astros are hosting auditions to be a member of the 2018 Coca-Cola Shooting Stars team. As a member of the Shooting Stars, you will be an ambassador for the Houston Astros brand throughout the year. Visit astros.com/shooting stars for audition info.
This season will not only mark the 4th consecutive 200-hit season for Jose Altuve, it'll mark his best batting average of his career. Coming in at 347, he grounded out on the first pitch. This one he chops towards Devers, who recovers after the ball bounds away for a moment. And Altuve on 2 pitches is grounded out to third twice. On the play, Centeno moves to second.
Also, like Devers was trying to make too quick of a play to try and turn that.
Altuve will lead the major leagues in road batting average, will lead the American League in batting average and in hits. And in the process, Jose Altuve will become the first player to ever lead his league outright in hits for 4 consecutive seasons. That has never happened before in Major League Baseball history. AJ said Jose would get a couple of at-bats. I saw Colin Moran grab a glove after Altuve's last at-bat, and now he's getting a handshake from bench coach Alex Cora. So the 2017 regular season campaign may be coming to a close for Altuve. And I know Mike Trout put up great numbers despite missing a quarter of the season. Aaron Judge having one of the more spectacular rookie years we've ever seen. But I think you just saw the American League MVP walk down the steps for the final time in 2017.
Yeah, he's got my vote. Right-handed batters to win 3 or more AL batting titles. My boy, right there, second, Harry Heilman. Good grief. Can't shake that guy. I love that Jose Altuve is putting up better numbers than Harry Heilman.
Pop up on the infield, shading himself from the sun is Holt, still fighting the sun, and he puts it away as Kemp is retired for the final out. We head to the bottom half of the 3rd, still scoreless.
is Auto Diamond Kings as we look back at some of the best Astros games on the road. This one, I'm going to say it's my favorite. May 29th, it was Memorial Day, and it was all because of what the Astros did late in this game in the 8th and the 9th. They were down by 6 runs. They put up 11 in the 8th, scored a few more to win, to beat the Twins 16-8. Twins bullpen took a beating that day, but that 8th inning had a little bit of everything. When you look back at it, there was some rain, there was a rain delay in there, there was a hit by pitch. Jose Altuve gave us all a scare that day. There was a replay, a lot of hits, a lot of runs. George Springer was actually up to the plate when the rain started to come down, and it wasn't raining hard, guys. I don't know if you remember when they decided to delay it a few minutes, and he was so upset that it felt, because at the time it felt like just the way the game was going, the way the inning was moving, that they were trying to lose some momentum for the Astros, and the Astros were feeling pretty good about what they were doing at that moment. But no momentum lost. Astros put up some big numbers. It's one that these guys will never forget. I know we won't forget it. I actually was sitting right behind the on-deck circle right there for that game and couldn't believe what I was watching as it unfolded. I also remember George Springer hitting one of the furthest home runs I've ever seen in person as well. Just an incredible series there in Minnesota.
You also remember A.J. Hinch?
Not feeling well that day.
No.
So we have this incredible game, and we can't wait to discuss it with the manager and get into the clubhouse and hear from these guys on what they just did on the field. And A.J. is nowhere to be found and wasn't available to us because he was so ill that day. But, you know, and he talks to us before and after every game, but the one time that he couldn't was that game.
You saw A.J. react to that play, and in case you weren't noticing, there was a strikeout throw him out at first base, and A.J. was reacting to the fact that Yuli Gurriel, who's now playing second base for the first time in his career, actually went over to back up the play like he's been there his whole life. Job, Yuli.
Baseball sense kicking in.
Yuli playing second base for the first time. Colin Moran comes in as Jose Altuve's out. Here's the swing and the miss, and there's Altuve backing up the play. There's Gurriel backing up the play in place of Altuve. Maybe now that he's taken Altuve's spot, he'll take all the pop-ups.
As you say, he's looking forward to a couple of pop-ups on the infield. Get some practice in.
Altuve's regular season is over. He will next play a game on Thursday at Minute Maid Park. And hopefully he has done enough. I know Aaron Judge has made a big push in the last few weeks, but hopefully he has done enough that you are seeing the American League MVP being hugged by his teammates right there.
I believe we are. Analytics point in his direction. Everything he's done points in the direction of being that MVP. He's done it on the road. He's done it at home. He's done it in clutch situations. He's done it early in games. Never really having that slump, but you can see Aaron Judge having one heck of a rookie season, leading in home runs. He's second in RBIs with 114, but just the entire package of Jose Altuve is what does it for me.
You know, Judge is going to get a little more attention because he's playing in the media capital in New York City. It's 4 strikeouts for Colin McHugh.
Aaron Judge has been very good at Yankee Stadium. It's understandable because, man, that size could just will it out of the ballpark. But on the road, a little bit different story. Jose Altuve with those record-setting road numbers at 384, the OPS up over 1,000. Comparable in home runs and RBIs with the big man on the right. But he scored more runs, getting on base and being very consistent throughout the course of the season.
And this is an Astros team that has won 100 games. And when you realize that there really haven't been too many regulars that have been available all season long, the entire outfield hurt at various points. There's Colin Moran making a play. No, he doesn't. It's a foul ball. He's going to throw to McHugh anyhow, who drops it. The whole time Joe West says foul ball, so it's going to go as a strike. But that's a play that Colin Moran wishes he had another shot at.
Yeah, running into some tough shadows. Yeah, that was in play. Joe West not exactly aggressive getting into that fair territory spot, and he is explaining to John Farrell that, no, I said foul.
They're going to look at it. The weird part is, all right, so Joe's called it foul at this point, and I know they played it through, but he was pretty emphatic with the call. And then when Moran threw to McHugh, he dropped it.
No, it was an ugly play all the way around.
You can't review a fair or foul ball before the bag. You can after the bag, but now it's a judgment call. How are you going to say that that was definitively not going to slice foul?
Well, it looked like it would have ended up foul, but the contact looked to me like it was in fair territory or on the line. When Colin tried to make the grab, yeah. I think that might be the conversation that John Farrell wanted them to have.
It was a weird play all the way around. I don't know. Colin probably should have caught it, and then the other Colin probably should have caught it.
Well, Colin McHugh almost like swatted at it because it was self-defense. He was shocked that Moran was throwing the ball. Rajai Davis is laying out at first base. But Judge has 208 strikeouts on the season.
Yep, by far the most.
By far the most. You know, had a rough August. Altuve, we talked about the analytics. His WAR number is best in baseball. Pretty much no matter where you look at what website or what algorithm you go with. So I have no problem. I mean, you're going to make a case for Aaron Judge because of the massive numbers and the run production.
I love the way Altuve, and run scored obviously is a big category. I just love the way he runs the bases and puts pressure on defense, going first to third. You know, how he hustles out of the box on every play. Even if you make the play or not, he's always putting pressure on you. And it's certainly not part of Aaron Judge's game. He hits the ball 500 feet sometimes, or high 400s. But Altuve is always doing stuff with his speed that creates panic on the other side defensively.
No, he brings a lot to the table.
Foul ball, says Joe West. Said, I told you that 3 minutes ago. We didn't need to go back to New York.
Some tight ball games, close and late comparison. Jose Altuve, my goodness, 441. The OPS almost at 1,200, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. Putting the ball in play and making things happen for the Houston Astros.
441, the best in the league in close and late situations. As Davis fouls one away. McHugh has struck out 2 in this inning. He has 4 strikeouts in the game. Davis, the lone Red Sox hitter to reach base. He had an infield hit his first time up. Check this swing on a foul ball. Rajai Davis spending most of the season with the Oakland A's, acquired from the Red Sox. He is 4 for his last, actually 5 for his last 9 now, with a base hit his first time up. A's lead the Rangers today 3-0. The A's could end up with 75 wins. They've been good this final month. Could have the other 4 teams in the AL West all between 75 and 80 wins at the end of the day. Two and 2 the count. Just missed the corner, says Alan Porter. Now the count's full. Red Sox in winning an AL East division title for the 2nd straight year, doing something they've never done before, winning back-to-back seasons. A division title in the AL East. To go back to 1915 and 16 when they won back-to-back years, winning the AL pennant. Strikeout for McHugh. He strikes out this side. Season came on the 1st of July when the Astros came back down 4 to the New York Yankees and took the lead in the 8th inning against Dellin Betances and Aroldis Chapman. The final bases clearing hit by Yuli Gurriel, a double with the bases loaded, and then this play ended the game as Josh Reddick to Carlos Correa, back to Yuli. And the Astros held on in thrilling fashion against the Yankees, who early in the season it was the Yankees and the Astros who had the 2 best records in the American League, and that was quite a come from behind win against the back end of the Yankees bullpen. Yuli Gurriel leads things off. Takes a pitch for a ball. It's 1-1. Yuli doubled against the center field wall his first time up. Has a chance to hit 300 if he goes 3 for 3 or 3 for 4 today. It's 2-1. Yuli started at first base, moved over to second base last inning when Altuve left the game. Playing second base for the first time in his big league career. Takes the mask off the home plate umpire Alan Porter on that foul ball. And it's 2-2. Yuli hitting his 42nd double of the season his first time up. He is going to lead all rookies in batting average this year, barring Trey Mancini having a huge final game. He was up 4 points on him coming in. Swing and a miss. He's going to have to hustle down to first as the ball gets away from Leon. Long throw by the catcher is in time. And Gurriel, a strikeout victim for the first out of the 4th. I'll bring up Carlos Beltran. 4 strikeouts for Velasquez. He has 1 in every inning. Beltran will finish the season with 2,586 games played. 44th all-time in Major League Baseball history. 40-year-old fouls one back. It's 1-1. Currently has 435 home runs. That's 46th all-time. And 1,587 RBIs. 41st all-time.
Going to be good to see his season extended going into the playoffs with the Houston Astros. Batting average wise didn't go the way Carlos wanted it. There's still plenty left in there. I anticipate him having a little bit of an impact in this postseason for the Astros. But I agree with you, Todd, in the sense that it may be as a left-handed hitter, that right-hand side probably not necessary.
Second time around with the Astros in the postseason. He was 2 times in the postseason with the Cardinals. Also appeared with the 06 Mets and the Yankees a couple of years ago in that wild card game against the Astros. He did things in that 2004 playoffs that are still a Major League record, like runs scored. In the postseason, he had 21 runs. And a line drive past the diving Brock Holt into right field. Carlos Beltran continues to hit the ball hard lately as he singles into right despite the shift. Astros have set up a website so that all fans can help raise much needed funds for Hurricane Harvey relief. Visit youcaring.com/Astros Harvey to donate today. Beltran's going to leave the game. DH finishes out the regular season with a base hit, and Alex Bregman will assume the DH role. Quite a proud man, Carlos Beltran, who's been going through a very difficult last few weeks since Hurricane Maria has gone through Puerto Rico.
It has been a rough couple of weeks, but he is doing amazing on the humanitarian side as far as raising funds and trying to get supplies down there to his native Puerto Rico.
It is literally all he can do to prepare for a game. He gets so many phone call messages, texts, calls, emails. The Carlos Beltran Foundation continuing to raise money for those suffering in Puerto Rico. Tyler White, the batter, with a runner on first and one out. Bregman now assumes the role of the DH. Tyler struck out looking his first time up. He has 17 hits for the Astros this year and 57 ABs coming in. 9 of those 17 have an extra base hits. Tyler had a string this year where the great white shark was really feeding. He had 3 consecutive home runs over 2 games. Those were all of his home runs for the Astros this year, coming in successive ABs.
Looks to be a little in between as far as that swing. That was a pretty good pitch to hit. Couldn't pull the trigger on it.
Astros needed 3 runs today to score 500 for the season on the road. And they needed 8 runs to get to 900 for the season. Open action going for the Red Sox. Robbie Scott warming up. A ball sent to center field. Bradley going back. Has the play right at the edge of the warning track. And White is retired for out number 2. Marwin had an extended at bat his first time up and walked.
I've got a moment. It has to do with Marwin Gonzalez. This was big back on May 2nd against the Texas Rangers. That was a grand slam where the Astros scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. They eventually go on to win 8-7 over the Texas Rangers. And that was early enough in the season for me where I really thought that was a big swing by Marwin. He's been clutch all year long, but that was a statement game for the Astros against the Texas Rangers, saying we are going to take back the West.
Yeah, they ended up, that was the second of 3 straight wins against the Rangers. They ended up winning 6 of their first 7 games against Texas this year. And after the way they played the Rangers last 2 years, that was huge.
Yeah, they needed to get off to an early start against the Rangers. As A.J. Hinch said early on this season that if they were going to win the West, it was going to go through Arlington. And oh, by the way, that was the same game that Julie was up there ringing the bell and having the time of her life.
When I turned 7 years old again for a night. That was so fun. That and inside the scoreboard.
For a home run inside the scoreboard, too.
Got to change the score.
Brian McCann hit one, I believe. A lot of highlights for you this year, Julia.
I was just say we all had fun, but not as much fun as Julia.
Yeah, that was fun. There's a lot of good times in there. Ate some good food. Not as good food.
Yep. Does it even qualify as food?
No. We had some good interviews along the way. I was scrolling through some pictures of the year, and the Altuve and Miguel Cabrera popped up, which will always be a highlight of 2017, sitting those two down and having them talk about Altuve's, quote, struggles when he was hitting 340.
Good thing he left the game today. He was 0 for 2. Tough day for Jose. Are you going with a third jacket of the weekend?
I have one, but I don't need it yet.
Nice down there, huh?
It's very nice, even in the shade.
Go. Marwin Gonzalez has a 3-0 count. Getting a lot of responses today on Twitter. We appreciate your support all season long. Fans voting for their favorite moments of the season. Sending some comments along the way as well. Marwin walks for the second time. Meeting at the mound right now. Saw the lefty Robbie Scott warming up. Centeno due up, Derek Fisher due up, a couple lefties after J.D. Davis, so this might be the last batter for Velasquez if he's unable to get through the fourth. Coach Carl Willis has had his say. Now Alan Porter lingering a little longer with Sandy Leon and Hector Velasquez.
Third baseman, number 28, J.D. Davis.
It's an extended conversation. I'm not sure what's going on.
They're having a good time, whatever it is.
Yeah, there's a couple of smiles coming off the mound.
There's J.D. Davis. He flied to right his first time up. This time he goes to right again, and over there once again is Chris Young towards the line to make the play for out number 3. Single, 2 men left on base. We head to the bottom of the fourth, scoreless.
There's a lot of attention moving forward, but he's staying pretty locked in, throwing good pitches. His breaking ball's pretty good. We've seen this out of him, so we expect it.
We knew Altuve was going to get a couple of at-bats. We did not know Yuli Gurriel would be the backup second baseman.
Well, you know, we don't have a lot of players that we're going to play today, so we have to get a little creative. I didn't think Tyler White was going to play left field, and you're probably going to see Colin Moran at shortstop one of these innings. So it's a little bit of a makeshift group, but Yuli got a little energy when we put him up the middle of the infield.
Still looking for the first run. How long do you go with Collins? Is this like a normal start for him?
Yeah, normal start. You know, we've got to make some decisions, and we want him to get stretched out to whether if he starts in the next series, maybe if we continue on, he'll be a consideration. So we have to treat him a little bit differently, get him extended.
AJ, it's going to be a lot of fun next Thursday with these two teams. Awesome. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for a great year. You guys are great.
Awesome, AJ. Thank you very much. Catching up with AJ Hinch in between innings. AJ, early on, good stuff out of Colin McHugh.
It is good. This is a tough day to pitch. Obviously there's a lot of attention moving forward, but he's staying pretty locked in, throwing good pitches. His breaking ball's pretty good. We've seen this out of him, so we expect it.
We knew Altuve was going to get a couple of at-bats. We did not know Yuli Gurriel would be the backup second baseman.
Well, we don't have a lot of players that we're going to play today, so we have to get a little creative. I didn't think Tyler White was going to play left field, and you're probably going to see Colin Moran at shortstop one of these innings. So it's a little bit of a makeshift group, but Yuli got a little energy when we put him up the middle of the infield.
Still looking for the first run. How long do you go with Colin? Is this like a normal start for him?
Yeah, normal start. We've got to make some decisions, and we want him to get stretched out to whether if he starts in the next series, maybe if we continue on, he'll be a consideration. So we have to treat him a little bit differently, get him extended. AJ,
it's going to be a lot of fun next Thursday with these two teams. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for a great year. You guys are great.
Awesome, AJ. Thank you very much. Blummer, it started in spring training. West Palm Beach, ballpark of the Palm Beaches. He was on every single one of our telecasts.
He was unbelievable. And we are spoiled rotten to have a manager like A.J. Hinch, who is so affable, number one, but also completely transparent in everything he does and welcomes the opportunity to have conversations with us. But it has been a fun year all the way around, being able to interact with A.J. the way we have.
Yeah, he's always been accessible and incredibly so to all of us on the broadcast team, and we are so appreciative of the info he gives us that sometimes we can use on the air, and sometimes he gives us info that just helps us out to understand how he's kind of managing through a game or a season, as it turns out.
No, that's very true, and that helps us out, like you're saying, big time to understand some of the situations. He is very forthcoming with a lot of information, but it also helps us understand him a little bit in calling these games and hopefully relaying some of the explanations on why he's using certain guys in certain places throughout the course of the season, because not everybody's 100% throughout the course of the season.
After a leadoff double by Brock Holt, Christian Vazquez has a 1-2 count against Colin McHugh. Astros no runs on 3 hits. The Red Sox picking up their second hit with that double by Holt, and also snapped a string of 9 straight batters sent down by Colin McHugh. Foul at the plate. Centeno couldn't hang on, and Vazquez stays alive. Well, AJ said he's got some big decisions coming up, and there couldn't be a bigger one than who starts game 1 of the postseason. We saw Dallas Keuchel, some video earlier, throwing a simulated game out on the mound here at Fenway Park before today's scheduled 3 o'clock game, 2 o'clock Central. We know it's going to be Verlander Keuchel or Keuchel Verlander. See how that plays out. Chris Sale is the likely game 1 starter for the Boston Red Sox.
The Astros road ahead is driven by DeMontronRV.com, and this will probably be our best guess on what possibly could happen for the Boston Red Sox and Houston Astros. We know that Chris Sale is going in that game 1. Drew Pomeranz backing him up, and then it's just a variation of good, very good, and really good between Justin Verlander and Dallas Keuchel. Dallas pitches extremely well at home at Minute Maid Park. Both these guys match up well. We showed you a couple broadcasts before that Justin Verlander has incredible numbers against these Red Sox since 2015.
Line drive, base hit to right, coming on Fisher, being held at third is Holt. Well, Chris Sale may win Cy Young Award, but Corey Kluber might have something to say about that. Chris Sale putting up great numbers yet again.
Yeah, pretty incredible. Sub-3 ERA, 308 strikeouts while giving up a batting average of 208. He's fallen victim of the home run here in maybe the last month or so. Maybe that's due to the fact that he's throwing so many pitches and getting those punch outs and pitching over 200 innings. But it should be interesting to see how it plays out against these Houston Astros. You know that he will be bringing his A game to Houston.
After 7 years with the Chicago White Sox, Chris Sale will be pitching in the postseason for the first time. And he's a pretty cool customer. He never seems to get flustered on the mound. Here's a ball the other way off the bat of Devers. It's going to be a fair ball down the line. Tyler White will play it out of the corner. 2 runs are going to score. Devers into second with a double. The ball stayed fair on White down the left field line and gave Devers his 29th and 30th runs batted in on the year.
Back-to-back-to-back hits for the Red Sox. I wasn't too sure that ball was going to stay fair either. Thought it would be slicing off that left-handed bat of Devers. Kind of inside out at it. Surprised him even. Right off that 310 sign, or that quote-unquote 310 sign down the left field line.
And pinballed around to that corner on Tyler White, getting a chance to play left field today. He was taking balls out there off the monster earlier. Didn't play any off that corner. Why would you? And of course, one of the first chances he gets is one of those that hits about 3 or 4 nooks and crannies out there. Here's Chris Young. But going back to Sale, so he'll pitch in his first postseason game, and it will be at Minute Maid Park, more than likely on Thursday. Even though he's a pretty calm and cool customer, there's something different when you get to October.
Should be.
Especially when you get on that road. Home crowd for the Astros can make a difference when they raise the roof on that Minute Maid Park opener, game 1 of the ALDS.
Well, I was just going to say, if they keep the lid closed on Minute Maid Park, it will get loud. And that definitely benefits the Houston Astros.
Astros delaying the Red Sox celebration a couple of nights with victories here, 12-2 on Thursday night, 3-2 on Friday night, before the Red Sox finally won a game yesterday. This one's into the outfield for a base hit. Devers didn't have a great read after it got past McHugh, so he went back to second. He's unable to score. 4 consecutive hits allowed by Colin after a leadoff infield single, and now all of a sudden the Red Sox double single in this inning.
Nice to stop that trend right here for Colin McHugh, get himself a ground ball, at least get 2 outs on 1 swing of the bat, but that's going to be tough with Jackie Bradley Jr. up there.
Kind of saw this yesterday with Lance McCullers. He was cruising along the first 3 innings or so, and then all of a sudden, 4th and 5th innings, the Red Sox got to him, ended up putting up 5 runs on Lance.
That's usually when you start to get into that 2nd, 3rd times around in the order. Hitters start to figure pitchers out a little bit.
This ball gets past Centeno, and that's going to score a run. Both runners advance. Devers scoring. Chris Young up to second. On a pitch that got by Juan Centeno, it's 3-0.
Did that get past or get through Centeno? It's not pretty. Cross up. Nobody on second base. Should be relatively easy to get those signs. But get these things out of the way. Centeno might be that 3rd catcher on that roster. You'd like to see him kind of square things up and get on the same page with some of these pitchers. Cannot have mistakes like that in the postseason.
Two 2-0 the count. Red Sox lead this game 3-0. 2 RBIs by Devers, and the pass ball allowing the 3rd run to score. I want to make sure they're on the same page again with a meeting. Well, like you said, this is the time to square things up. Make sure you are exactly on the same page. I don't want to see any cross-ups or mix-ups if you get to the postseason. We've seen, even with the starter, Brian McCann, there's been a few mix-ups and cross-ups this year with the signs, and that's something you can't afford. 90 feet in the regular season is one thing.
Yeah.
90 feet in the best of 5 to make a difference in a series.
Absolutely. And we've seen in some of the highlights we've shown of the Houston Astros, they are a good team at taking advantage of mistakes from other teams. But in order to go deep into the playoffs, you have to cut down on the mistakes you make yourself.
4-pitch walk to Jackie Bradley Jr. Now 5 straight have reached base in the 4th inning. This week on a brand new edition of Astros Bases Loaded, we will have an ALDS preview. The Astros and the Boston Red Sox kicking things off Thursday from Minute Maid Park. A little roundtable discussion with our broadcast team. Will be the feature of our Astros Bases Loaded coming up on Tuesday at 5:30 only on AT&T Sportsnet.
All right, I got one for you. Chris Sale, the last time he pitched at Minute Maid Park was back July 2nd of 2016. Went 7 innings, pretty good. Gave up 5 runs, 4 of them earned. Just saying.
What was the rest of his line?
He did punch out 9 hitters.
Hits?
6 hits.
Okay. 5 runs, 4 earned.
He
Take
ended
that.
up taking the win, but
yeah,
it's a little bit different offense too.
Oh.
A little bit different pitching matchup.
You give Keuchel or Verlander 5 runs, I think you feel pretty good.
That's how I feel too. You see the run total and you put that up against a Justin Verlander, Dallas Keuchel. I'm with you. That's a good afternoon.
Starting to see bullpen.
Or evening if they ever figure out what time he's got.
Right. We might not know till later on Tuesday, depending on the wild card winner between the Yankees and the Twins, about what time that game will start on Thursday. You see bullpen action going for the first time for the Astros today. It's the 21-year-old right-hander Francis Martez. Sam Travis, the batter, with 2 on and nobody out. 5 straight have reached base for the Red Sox in the 4th inning. That's a strike. It's 2-2. The Astros know there are only 2 teams they could potentially meet in the postseason where they would not have home field advantage. That would be the Indians in the ALCS or the Dodgers in the World Series. All the other teams, all 7 other teams that have qualified in the American League and National League, the Astros would hold home field advantage in any of those series. On the ground toward short. Marwin to Yuli. Yuli's first chance to turn a double play, and he looks smooth. La Pena making the turn at second for the double play.
Smooth. That was quick.
He has been mispositioned all year. It's hard to play second on this Astros team when a guy named Altuve's on the team.
No doubt, but getting an opportunity right here. Showing off a little bit. Good flip from Marwin, hitting him right in the chest. That was some quick feet and a good strong throw from Yuli Gurriel. Time when McHugh desperately needed it. Nicely done.
I'm telling you, that was really well done. 2 outs, runner on third now. Sandy Leon will bat. There's a strike. Leon struck out his first time up. Yuli gets another ground ball. Looks good over there at second base this inning. That was more of a routine after he turned a nice double play on the previous batter. Ball on AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By HEB. No store does more than my HEB. And by the all-new 2017 Nissan Titan with America's best limited truck warranty. See dealer for warranty details. All throughout Fenway Park, they are donating money at the entrances of Fenway Park. Hurricane relief. A lot of teams around Major League Baseball supporting all those efforts. Damage done from Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, and most recently Hurricane Maria. As we head to the 5th inning in this 3-0 game, new pitcher for the Red Sox is the left-hander Robbie Scott.
Left-hander's got 4 pitches. Fastball, sub-90s, throwing around 88 miles an hour. Slider, curveball, and a changeup. 57th appearance for Robbie Scott. Lefty's hitting a .129 against him.
He'll throw that slider a lot to left-handers. Comes in at you with a little sidearm delivery, and he'll face a couple of lefties to start this inning with Juan Centeno and Derek Fisher due up. Followed by Colin Moran. Moran now batting in the leadoff spot, took over for Jose Altuve. So Scott will face 3 lefties here in the 5th inning. 1-1 the count. Centeno singled his first time up. One pitch slowly hit past the diving Scott. Holt will glove it in an underhand. Nice play by Brock Holt, who lays out after the play.
Man, bodies everywhere. First it was Robbie Scott bouncing off on the swinging bunt from Juan Centeno. He lays out. Then it's Brock Holt's turn with the flip. Plenty of time to get Juan Centeno.
Here's Derek Fisher. He struck out his first time up. Took this Astros team a little while to get the offense going. I mentioned first homestand despite a couple of exciting victories against the Mariners. Just a 4-3 homestand. They would go to 4-4. Then they would win the last 4 games of that road trip. Final 2 in Seattle and the first 2 in Oakland before a rainout to move to 8-4. Got to 10 games over 500 for the first time at 19-9. The Astros went to Oakland. They took over first place for the first time by themselves and never looked back. From that first road trip all the way through the rest of the season, the Astros never trailed after taking the lead. They would move to 60-29 at the All-Star break. Things were really gelling going into that All-Star break. 31 games over 500. And then coming out of the All-Star break, Carlos Correa got hurt. The trade deadline came and went. The Astros didn't make any moves. And next thing you knew, A.J. Hinch's team was kind of finding its way in the month of August and not playing their best baseball. Springer was hurt at points during that stretch. He missed 13 games.
He really felt like the offense hit a wall. Pitching was doing an okay job, but they were not scoring the runs because of those injuries you're talking about. Some of these other guys who had those fill-in roles. There was a lot being put on their shoulders with Springer and Correa out of that lineup.
Foul back. It's 3-2. And the lead was never in jeopardy. The lead in the American League West, as bad as the team struggled in the month of August. At one point they had an 18-game lead. The closest it ever got beyond that, at the end of the month of August, it was 11. on August 30th. That was when the Rangers beat the Astros for the second straight game in that displaced series, the Lone Star Series, which was played in the state of Florida. But then something very unique happened the next day on August 31st. Not only did the Astros win to wrap up that series, but they acquired this guy.
Yeah, that was a nice boost to the entire ball club. We saw the pitching staff get ramped up and shuffled around a little bit. It got a lot deeper having him move into that rotation. Also gave those guys a boost in that clubhouse and gave them that real credibility that I think they needed to push forward through September when things really started to turn around for the Houston Astros. He pitched in some big games that debut. He said felt like opening day. Pitched the clinch game. Stopped a rough stretch out there in Anaheim after they went through and got swept in Oakland. But he stepped up big all year long so far for the Houston Astros.
Things have been much different in September than they were in August. The Astros at one point mentioned their lead had gone down to 11. That was on August 30th. Here we are, the final game of the season, and the Astros lead by 21 games. Bobby Scott has been tough on lefties, as Blummer mentioned, all year long, and he has been tough in this inning on the Astros lefties. A ground out, a strikeout, and now he's 0-2 on Colin Moran. Moran pops one up. Travis, the first baseman, gives way to the second baseman Holt in a 1-2-3 inning for Robbie Scott. We're halfway home. Red Sox lead 3-0. Play of a game comes from your defense, and that was the case in this victory for the Astros against the Yankees. Jake Marisnick with the throw home. Toby Ellsbury was gunned down for the final out, preserving a victory for the Astros and a save for Ken Giles in that 3-2 win. Astros, with that win, Blummer, took over the best record in the American League that they held all the way until September when the Cleveland Indians went on that crazy tear.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. And at the time, that it was only May 11th, but there were a lot of people saying these might be the two best teams now at May 11th, but it may be the two best teams throughout the course of the season. There were a lot of people looking forward to that matchup, especially on the stage up there in New York.
Yankees are going to end up with the second most runs in Major League Baseball behind the Astros. Yankees coming in with 91 wins on the season against 70 losses. Rajai Davis, the batter, after a fly out to right.
I just love what that play represented for the Houston Astros. Their ability to play from behind, score some runs, take the lead, and then use their defense even to win ball games. Got to be able to do it on all facets, and they have this year. We've seen the bullpen be extremely good for stretches. We've seen the starting rotation be very good at stretches. This offense is putting up historic numbers, especially on the road. But then they've got the defense to back it up, too.
Fisher in the sun makes the play for out number 2. Unfortunately, we will not see Jake Marisnick, at least for the first round or two in the postseason. We'll see how that thumb heals, if he might be available by the World Series. The Astros have had solid play from their outfield defense all year long, with Springer making phenomenal plays in center or right. Jake making some great plays all year in center. Now Cameron Maybin on the team, plus defensive player, and hopefully we'll see Josh Reddick back and healthy for the postseason. And patrolling right field, there's Cam Maybin. 2 fly balls to right, 2 outs for Colin McHugh, who so far has thrown 72 pitches, 50 for strikes, a good percentage today of filling up the zone. Just ran into a string of 5 hitters who reached base last inning, and that's the difference in this 3-0 game. Now, the Yankees, with all their runs scored, are plus 199 in the run differential column. The Red Sox, winning the AL East, a plus 118. So the Yankees, coming into today, were 81 runs better in the plus-minus run differential column than the Red Sox. One of the big differences, though, the Red Sox this year in extra inning games were 15-3. And they currently lead the AL East by 2 games. If they go 10-8 or even 11-7 in those 18 games instead of 15-3 in extra innings, they might be the wild card team. Those extra inning games have proven to be the difference. As Brock Holt said, that ball got me on the foot, and Alan Porter agrees. That's a hit by pitch.
That was that slider down and in. Almost got the check swing on it.
The Red Sox will be the only American League team that will not go into the postseason averaging 5 runs or more on the offensive end. Averaging 5 runs a game or more had only happened 5 times in the last 5 years for the entire major leagues. This year you've got the other 4 postseason teams other than the Red Sox who have all averaged 5 runs or more, led by the Astros. Colorado, Washington, the Cubs in the National League. So you have 7 teams this season who have averaged 5 runs or more, and that's never happened, not even close in the last 5 years, averaging 1 team per year over the last 5. Offensive explosion this year.
Home runs are up. No 2-strike approaches. The strikeout is okay and acceptable these days as long as you're trying to lift and separate.
There's a strikeout on cue for Colin McHugh, his 6th. the Astros. We head to the 6th inning in Boston. Our league leaders are presented by Houston Methodist. Astros on the road, all-time in franchise history, scoring the most runs ever, 6.2 runs. Hitting the most road home runs ever by 123 home runs. Slugging percentage the best, batting average second best, and the most important column of all, the most wins ever away from their home stadium.
Incredible stuff. I normally see those teams having a good time on the road. Usually the theory is play for the split on the road, win at home, and it's just been all win almost all the time for the Houston Astros on the road.
52 of their 100 wins on the road, 48 at Minute Maid Park. As Tony Kemp takes a pitch outside for a ball, it's 1-0. Only 2 other teams winning 50 games on the road this year. The Washington Nationals 50-31 and the Cleveland Indians 53-28. The best home team this year in the American League is not any of the division winners. The New York Yankees are going to end up with the best home record in the AL at 51-29 coming into today. Yankees are trailing to Toronto 1-0 in the 7th inning. Boston and Cleveland with a win today at home will end up with the second most. If they both win, they'll end up tied, as they both came in with 48 wins at home. The left-hander Robbie Scott got all 4 left-handed batters he faced, including Tony Kemp, to start the 6th inning, so his day will be done. John Farrell with Yuli Gurriel due up goes to the bullpen, and we'll tell you about the new reliever after this.
The #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at today.
3-0 game, 6th inning, 1 out, nobody on after the ground out by Kemp, and a right-hander due up in Yuli Gurriel, so Brandon Workman comes out of the Red Sox bullpen. Workman appearing in his 33rd game on the season. 1-1 walk and a 2.77 ERA. Yuli has to get 2 more hits in this game to hit 300 for the season. If he makes an out at some point, you would think that may be the end of his day, as he is trying to reach 300. That's the main reason he has been playing today. Got to hit his first at bat, struck out his last at bat. And he's got a 1-1 count here. Brandon Workman, 29-year-old righty, fastball, curveball, cutter. Throw that fastball and cutter a lot to right-hand hitters.
Throw that cutter about 36% of the time to righties.
Steady He tries the breaking ball there and misses. It's 2-1.
36% of the time, he throws it every time.
I would love to see Yuli get a hit here just to keep the dream alive. Plus, he'll get to play more second base. 300 on the nose if he goes 3 for 4 today, and it counts 2-2.
That would be kind of cool.
Yuli reached 300 once since late May, just for one day. He's been right around the 290, 295, 300 mark most of the season. Into right center field, now down for a hit. Yuli's got a chance all the way to the wall. Another double for Gurriel. He has 43 doubles now, and he has a shot to hit 300 for the season.
Just another doble for La Pina. Does a good job of staying up the middle the other way, and Yuli is not going to go out there and blow your doors off as far as home run totals, but you're going to go out there and get a lot of extra base hits from Yuli Gurriel. When you say gap to gap, Yuli is that guy. He can shoot that right center field gap like we just saw here at Fenway, and you're also going to see him shooting that left center field gap like he did out in Cleveland. The kid has not kid anymore, but the young ball player in Yuli Gurriel does a very good job of staying up the middle for me. And he's one of the higher velocity guys in all of baseball.
Exit velo off his bat consistently strong as Bregman grounds one towards third. Devers makes the play. Alex Bregman with his first at bat. He came on as a pinch runner for the DH Carlos Beltran. So Bregman now 0 for 1 on the day. Gurriel with 43 doubles qualifies as a rookie. The next closest in doubles amongst rookies is Ben Gamble, and he has 27. Yuli stays healthy and plays as many games as he did this year, close to 140. 40 doubles should be in his wheelhouse next year.
It's a great number. It's a lot of doubles. It's a lot of times putting yourself in scoring position.
Tyler White swings with the first offering, sends it into center field. Double by Gurriel. He's left on base. Astros being shut out through 6. It's 3-0 Boston. Minute Maid Park with the Astros commemorative brick program. Fans can purchase a brick with customized messaging that will welcome fans into the ballpark each and every season. Order your commemorative brick now at astros.com/bricks. Sixth inning baseball. The guy who's responsible for all 3 runs, Rafael Devers, at the plate. He doubled in 2 and he scored the 3rd. Devers 1 for 2 with that double, facing Colin McHugh. Takes a called strike. McHugh approaching 80 pitches on the day. Probably in his final inning of work. AJ had mentioned earlier he'd like to see a couple of guys get some work in today. He mentioned Will Harris, Joe Musgrove, Francisco Liriano. Ball towards left. Tyler White, who doesn't play much left, is there, and he puts it away for out number 1. Tyler's pretty comfortable in the infield. He was getting work out in the outfield both in Arlington and in Boston here in this series, and makes the play for that first out. Colin Moran has moved to shortstop. Max Stassi has moved to first base. Well, Marwin Gonzalez regular season is over. And Yuli Gurriel may have left the game had he not picked up a hit in his last at bat, but because he has a chance at 300, he's still in there.
It's good to see. AJ Hinch, these guys know what numbers they're going for. And what an achievement, like you were saying last inning for Yuli. If he had an opportunity to hit 300 on the season, that'd be icing on the cake for him.
Marwin ends his season 303, which started the day 9th in the American League in batting average. A 904 OPS, which is 7th in the American League, and a team leading 90 RBIs. If you could take the American League MVP out of the equation, Marwin might get votes for the team MVP.
He could. We showed one of his bigger hits earlier today with that grand slam against Texas, but he has been clutch all season long and moving all over the diamond.
Chris Young strikes out for the second out.
3 regulars in the Astros lineup this season with a 900+ OPS. It's a pretty good number.
Well, last time that happened was Lou and Bagwell and Berkman back in 2001. Marwin was over 900, Correa at 941, and Altuve 961. Here's Jackie Bradley Jr. Colin McHugh has himself 7 strikeouts today.
You know what's been fun for me is when I throw out random topics like that, you actually back me up with stats. It's been a lot of fun to be able to have a guy do that for me. I appreciate that.
No, it's been a great year, Blummer. It's I don't know how you could possibly work into a first full season in the broadcast booth any smoother than you and Julie and the guys downstairs have allowed me to in 2017. And the team, my goodness.
Yeah, all the way around. You know, as far as us being able to work together, we have history. And Julia's very easy for us to work with. She's done a great job. But to have a ball club like this, for us to be able to kind of chew on a little bit and pick apart throughout the course of the season and enjoy all together has been truly phenomenal.
1-2 the count on Jackie Bradley Jr. And Colin McHugh ends up with an 8 strikeout game, if in fact that was his last inning. Strikes out 8, that's the most, matching a season high.
And it is presented to you by Toyota. Marwin Gonzalez having a phenomenal season, a real breakout season for Marwin. The versatile defensive player can also do it at the dish. 90 RBIs leads this Astros team, 39 more than 2016 for Marwin Gonzalez. Talked about Jose Altuve possibly being that American League MVP internally here in Houston. Marwin Gonzalez might take a couple of votes away from Altuve and be that team MVP with some of the clutch hitting he's come up with.
So many big moments for Marwin. Getting a chance to play pretty much every day since May. I mentioned that May 2nd Grand Slam against the Rangers. One of the biggest moments of the season for Marwin and the team as Max Stassi gets his first at bat. He's batting in Marwin's spot, leading off the 7th inning. Stassi with a foul ball to start the AB.
I almost forgot about that home run in Baltimore. That AB that he had was in relief of Colin Moran when he came out after fouling the ball off his face.
Stassi 4 for 23 on the season for the Astros. That includes a couple of home runs. Of Marwin's 23 home runs this season, 12 of the 23 were multi-run home runs. He had a grand slam, we mentioned that one. He hit 4 3-run home runs, matched George Springer for the most of that variety, and he hit 7 2-run home runs.
Damage, just a lot of damage.
12 of his 23 were multi-run home runs. 13 of Correa's 24 were multi-run home runs. That was the most. Springer hit 11 multi-run home runs. It's going to be a team that's done things that no team in MLB history has ever done before. They're not going to have a 100 RBI hitter on their roster. Marwin's going to lead the team with 90 as Stassi draws a walk to start the 7th. And previous to this year, the most runs ever scored by a team without a 100 RBI player on their team was 865. That was the 1922 Pirates. The Astros, despite being shut out today, were at 892. So they've beaten that by 27 runs. Plus, if they score any more today, that's a new major league mark. They've also won the most games ever for a team that does not have a pitcher that qualified for innings pitched. There's a line drive smash on one hop past the second baseman Holt, and all of a sudden the Astros have the tying run coming to home plate after a walk and a single on a smash by J.D. Davis.
Are you following AT&T Sportsnet on social media? From player and team stats to trivia and behind-the-scenes photos, find us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest on the Astros all season long.
Brandon Workman's day is done. A couple of lefties due up. John Farrell back to his bullpen, and we'll have more after this.
Flashing back to some of the Astros' best games away from home with their 52 wins on the road. This one was when they were going for their 60th win. They had 59 wins with 1 game to play before the All-Star break. The team was in Toronto, and it was a offensive onslaught. 19-1 was the final score. Correa had a couple of bombs that day. But what a way to wrap up the first half. They do get their 60th win, so they went into the break 60-29. And if you remember earlier that week or just before that, the guys were starting to learn that they would make the All-Star team for the very first time. They were feeling really good about that as well. By the way, guys, Jose Altuve knows every word to the song that Abad just warmed up to. Every single word.
Say more importantly, right?
More importantly, absolutely. And he had an audience. He's still going. The song stopped, but he knew every word.
He even got applause from the third base umpire, Hunter Wendelstedt.
It was fantastic. All right, that was a great game at Rogers Center.
Overshadowed by Altuve.
I bet you Aaron Judge doesn't know every word to that song.
No way.
That is MVP right there.
Yeah.
There's Fernando Abad taking over with all these lefties due up.
And Aoki didn't get Altuve out this season. Nori Aoki has an A+ batting average against Aaron Judge of 0.
Centeno line drive the other way. The Astros are going to get on the board for the first time today. Max Stassi, who walked, comes around to score. Now the ball's loose and everybody else advancing up a base. So second and third, still nobody out. Centeno an RBI, and the Astros down 3-1.
Bottom part of this order answering back. Stassi with the leadoff walk. J.D. Davis. Now Juan Centeno getting in on the act. He's got 2 knocks on the day. Inside outing this pitch from Abad. Nice piece of hitting. Got past Rajai Davis out there in left field.
They haven't posted an error, but the runners definitely waited to advance until that ball got past Davis. We'll see if they give him a double. No, they did post the error now. So hitting an error. Here's Derek Fisher. There's a called strike. Fisher, a couple of strikeouts today. Abad has a sub-200 batting average against lefties. Saw Robbie Scott come in earlier. He had a 129 average against. Abad's is 194, although that moved up after the hit by Centeno. Fastball, curveball, and changeup from the 31-year-old lefty. Now, mentioning earlier the lack of any pitchers who qualified for innings. Mike Fiers leads the team in innings pitched. And barring something that we're not anticipating, Fiers will not be on the postseason roster. He pitched 153 2/3. Dallas Keuchel had 145 2/3. Charlie Morton 146 2/3. To qualify, you need 162 innings. Nobody, Justin Verlander did, but all that time with the Tigers, nobody pitched that many innings for the Astros this year. And yet here they are with 100 wins, possibly 101 if they come back in this game.
And the guy with the most innings pitched by a Houston Astros starter that started the season with him is not going to be on the playoff roster.
Made every start, every turn until the last few weeks.
Remarkable stuff. Real credit to depth, too.
Had it not been for Fiers, though, who knows where the Astros would be. They probably would have still won the West because they lead by 21 games, but maybe not the number 2 seed in the American League playoffs.
Yeah, middle part of the season, Mike Fiers stepped up and did a great job. He was arguably the best starter in that rotation for the Astros for a couple months when the Astros needed him most. Colors going on the DL after the All-Star break. Dallas Keuchel doing the same. Brad Peacock moved in, stepped up.
Colin McHugh's day is probably done. We see bullpen action going. Will Harris had loosened up, and he's actually stopped throwing, so he's ready to come into the game. There's Will, and there's the aforementioned Mike Fiers right behind him. Fiers has been out of that bullpen the last few weeks for the Astros, but hasn't pitched in a little while. Pitches up and into Derek Fisher. It's 2-2. And the big decisions coming up for A.J. Hinch is who are your 3 and 4 starters and who's your 7th man out of the bullpen for the postseason. Also has to decide on his final 2 bench players. I think one of those spots, Derek Fisher has a good chance to be one of those 2, but you never know. There's Tyler White, there's Tony Kemp, J.D. Davis, all bidding to be on that bench for A.J. Hinch. Early in the year, Lance was as good as anybody, especially in the month of May.
No, he earned the right to go to that All-Star game with that 7-2 record, 3.05 ERA, the average against him at 2.24, but racking up punch-outs early and often in that season for Lance McCullers. Eventually, we saw him kind of morph into a guy who pitched to contact, trying to get a little bit deeper in games. The strikeouts went down a little bit, but he was also getting into those 6th innings of games where you want to see a guy like Lance McCullers go. He is obviously a high-energy guy, a high-intensity guy. Some consideration possibly for the rotation in the postseason.
Fisher hit the ball hard, but he hit it at the first baseman, Travis. And that's the first out of the inning. Colin Moran will get an AB. Moran popped up his first time up, coming in for Jose Altuve. Moran having to face a lefty for the 2nd straight time. Talking a little earlier about how much fun we have had in the broadcast booth following this team during its 100-win season. Our first time working a full season together. There's a smash tipped off the glove of the first baseman. Nobody covering the bag, so everybody's safe. It's now a 3-2 game. Colin Moran's going to get credit for a base hit there and an RBI.
Nicely done by Colin, pulling the hands in, raking it to right field. They're trying to get it into right field. Travis had different ideas. Nobody covering. Brock Holt nowhere to go.
Fernando Abad was pretty close to the mound when that play was being made. So now all of a sudden the Astros down 3-2, and they have the tying run at third base. See Moran pick up an RBI. Here's Tony Kemp. Moran now with 3 RBIs on the year, his first one back since that scary injury in Baltimore, as Kemp takes a strike.
So in all your scouting and preparation for this job, did you anticipate the Astros being a 100+ win team?
No, it's really rare.
Yeah.
It's really rare to get that season where everything goes right, and they were off to that great start, 60-29 at the break. At the breaks, I certainly thought so. And when they were out to that early start, winning 2/3 of their games, I thought it was a possibility. But if you ask me in spring training, you never anticipate 100 coming out of spring training.
Well, and that's what goes back to that conversation we were having about the American League West. I really anticipated myself in seeing these teams beat up on each other in the West.
Tony Kemp at base hit. All these lefties continue to get base hits against lefties, as Abad has given up hits to Centeno, Moran, and now Tony Kemp with an RBI. This game's tied. Moran goes all the way to third, and the Astros have tied the game at 3. Abad's day is over after the base hit by Kemp.
I don't know if command is all that good for Abad right now. He's missing out of the zone and missing in the zone, and these guys are taking advantage of him. Bottom third of the order, spending most of the season in Fresno, is tearing up the Boston Red Sox right now.
So Yuli with a chance to hit 300 against a new pitcher out of the bullpen. We'll tell you about the new arm after this. Derek Jeter night at Yankee Stadium. And the guy who wears number 2 because of Jeter hit his first home run, and it was a grand slam.
Been waiting around all year to see that home run, and Alex was just waiting for the right moment. Loves the big stage. Big moment on Derek Jeter Day.
If you remember earlier that day, it was Mother's Day. You see him wearing the pink, but his mother was in attendance for this game. His mother, a huge Derek Jeter fan as well. They had a dog named Jeter growing up for Bregman, but just a really special day altogether with Mom there being able to watch that. And then what does he do when he comes to Fenway for the first time? Goes deep over the monster.
Twice.
So back-to-back games just for good measure.
Yuli with a chance to hit 300. If he gets a base hit here, he will be at 300 on the nose as he fouls one away facing Matt Barnes.
Obviously pretty nervous about it, swinging early. It would be Yuli Gurriel. He is not going to waste much time. If he gets a pitch in the zone, he is going to go after it.
I think he's coming out after this at bat either way, unless he walks, because if he makes an out, then he can't hit 300. If he gets a hit, he's at 300 on the nose. And he rarely walks.
Yeah.
So this is probably it for Yuli. Although Marwin was supposed to play 9 and Yuli stayed in the game, so depending on whether AJ wants Cameron Maben to check into this game or not will determine whether Yuli has to play the whole way. But yeah, Bregman got to check out the inside of the monster with Julia before the game, and then he went over the monster twice in the first 2 games of this series. Two and 1 to count.
Yeah, you got to write his name in the wall in the green monster, and then he eventually wrote a couple of names in his very early and very young home run book here at Fenway.
Here's the count for Yuli. Good hitters count. 1 hit for 300. Now it's 3 and 1.
Oh, he's got to give him something to hit.
Come on, Matt Barnes.
Wow, you just called him out. I think Barnes knows.
0 chance. Although they do post the average here on the big board, but still. 412. Give him a pitch to hit, Matt.
Well, that go-ahead run on third base.
Into right center field, over is Chris Young, and he makes the play. Tagging and scoring. This will not count as a bat against Yuli. So if they want to keep him in the game, you could still possibly get another AB as he hits a sac fly to give the Astros a 4-3 lead.
AJ Hinch was probably hoping for a little more definitive answer to that question on whether or not to keep Yuli in or out. And then just played for the tie. Did a good job of driving that ball the other way. It looked like it had a chance to get over the head of Chris Young, and then the realization is just a lousy sac fly RBI.
He gave the team the lead. So there's that. And we'll see if Yuli stays in the game for one more chance at 300. Here's Alex Bregman.
Well, it's just tough, too, because, you know, the 7th inning. You'd have to bat around a little bit to get him back up there in the 9th. There is an opportunity.
Yeah, I would say there's a good chance he'll bat again. You have to get 2 more runners on between now and the 9th. If, in fact, Beltran makes the last out. You don't need Kemp thrown out, though. Tony's okay. He's safe on the steal. Well, we'll see if Yuli stays in or not. A sac fly. He thought he had that hit momentarily. Still at 299. I guess he's staying in. He just picked up the hat and glove.
He did. Don't cover the Pena.
Bregman, check swing. Well, in this game that really doesn't mean a ton in terms of win or loss, but it's nice if you go to 101. 101 sounds better than 100 wins, and the Astros with a 4 spot this inning.
Yeah, then you could say 100+ win team. Bonus time. Plus, you're going to be playing this team in the first round of the American League Division Series. Why not come back and beat them? You already smashed them in the first game. Won a great 3-2 game in that second game of the series. Allowed them to clinch yesterday. But here, even some of the secondary guys putting up some numbers to try and beat them here.
Even though the season series is tied coming into today at 3 apiece, the Astros have outscored the Red Sox overall in the season series by a pretty good margin. Even though they lost 2 out of 3 at Minute Maid Park, they outscored them in that series 13-9. And in this series, outscoring them 18-10. So 31-19. Kemp is going to try and score from second. No, he's not. He goes down to a slide. Tony really was bursting around third with a lot of momentum on that wild pitch. Then decided not to try and go home. He almost tried to score from second on a wild pitch. Hey, 501 runs on the road. That moves them into the top 10 all time. And if you take out the 1930 Yankees teams, they'd be in the top 5.
1930s with it. I mean, talk about dominating the market. Goodness, New York. Is anybody else trying to sign guys that were worthwhile?
Apparently not.
Jeez.
Bregman stays alive. 501 runs on the road.
If I can go through my notes real quick, I made a pretty good one here. I think it was 312 runs on the road in 2013 for the Houston Astros.
312?
In 2013.
Wow. That's almost 200 more. Still an out.
Oof. Sorry.
Oh, still an outside shot. If they score a lot here in the last few innings of a 900-run season. That hasn't happened in baseball since 2009 when the Yankees did it. Astros need 4 runs to get to that season total. Runner on third base in a 4-3 game. And Bregman goes down swinging. Astros take the lead on a sac fly by Yuli Gurriel, who may end up playing the whole game trying to get to the 300 mark for the season. 3 consecutive base hits off a lefty by left-hand hitters, Centeno, Moran, and Kemp, and then the sac fly by Gurriel. We're going to keep it right here at Fenway Park with the score, the Astros 4 and the Red Sox 3. Time to enjoy God Bless America.
Those impacted by recent hurricanes, and the winning numbers are now posted on the center field video board. And now, before Josh Cantor leads us in the singing of Take Me Out to the Ball Game, we ask you to please rise. To honor our nation, we ask all our fans to please join us in the singing of God Bless America.
Performance is powered by Kubota. Brad Peacock on the road. 8-0, 2.88 ERA. Tied for first on the team in road wins. You know why we bring that up is because that first start for Brad Peacock in the postseason might be right here on the road in Fenway Park. Also, Will Harris pitched extremely well on the road this season. He had himself a 2-1 record, 1.57 ERA. Leads team relievers in that road ERA, one of the key pieces to that A.J. Hinch bullpen.
Here is Will Harris trying to protect a 4-3 lead in the bottom half of the 7th inning. And the first pitch is grounded towards the middle. Colin Moran is there and smoothly makes the play on Sam Travis for the first out of the bottom half of the 7th. We've seen Will Harris look a lot better here down the stretch, and that is huge going into the postseason.
No, I agree. Coming off the DL with some of that shoulder fatigue or shoulder issues, there was a little bit of concern about the velocity. He does have good movement with that cut fastball, the 12-6 traditional curveball that he does have, but the velocity with that cut fastball makes him effective to both right-handed and left-handed hitters. And I think the biggest thing for AJ is knowing that he can go back out there and get some of these left-handed hitters out.
Facing Sandy Leon.
And the big reason for that is because Francisco Liriano is probably going to be that only left-handed pitcher out of that bullpen. He will be used in some key situations against left-handed hitters, as you see Sandy Leon rake that base hit into right field.
Yeah, the splits this year for Will haven't been as good as in the past against lefties. Still solid, but in the past it's always been right-hand hitters that have done a little more work offensively against Will Harris. Leon's afternoon is going to be over, and his regular season comes to a close with a base hit. He ends up 1 for 3. Blake Swihart taking over at first base. Pitch misses to Devin Marrero. It's 1-0. Marrero, a strikeout and a flyout. Some of the first finals are about to start rolling in the major leagues. Every game starting today at 3:05 Eastern time. Brewers and Cardinals are in the bottom half of the 9th inning of their game. The Brewers, a great season, falling just shy of a wild card berth in the National League. The A's are beating the Rangers in the 9th inning. The A's trying to end up with 75 wins. And they aren't that far back of Texas, Seattle, and the Angels in the AL West, as all those teams could end up between 75 and 80 wins. Blue Jays and Yankees are in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Disappointing year for the Blue Jays. Even if they win that game and they're leading 2-1, they will win 76 games and lose 86 games. People thought they might have a shot in this AL East this year. Two and two the count. Giancarlo Stanton has not hit a home run in his game. They're in the 7th inning, 4-4. Giancarlo looking for home run number 60 on the season. It's now 5-4 Braves over the Marlins in the 7th. Does have 2 hits, hitting leadoff for Don Mattingly to give him as many at-bats as possible. And Will Harris, after allowing that 1-out hit, comes back with a strikeout as he gets Marrero for out number 2. Harris taking over for Colin McHugh, who now, after leaving the game down 3-0, has a chance to be the winning pitcher as his team scored 4 in the top half of the 7th inning. McHugh striking out 8, which matched his season high.
Got to keep that record perfect.
That's right.
September and October coming into this game 15-0.
Trying to keep that mark perfect. He knows he can't be the losing pitcher now and has a chance to be the winning pitcher. His 20th start in September since 2014, and we're counting September and October all together. So even though it's October 1 today,
its September-October record since 2014. 20 starts. If he wins today, he's 16-0 with an ERA right around 3. Fly ball to left field. Tyler White is under it. And when he puts it away, we are through 7 innings at Fenway Park, and the Astros lead 4-3. DeMontron Auto Group. Astros with a 4 spot in the 7th inning. 3 left-hand hitters. Juan Centeno, Colin Moran, Tony Kemp with RBI singles in the 7th, and then Yuli Gurriel with the go-ahead sac fly RBI. Jose Altuve, a couple of ground outs, but he wins the American League batting title for the 3rd time in his career, and also leads the American League in hits for the 4th straight year. Rafael Devers accounting for all the runs for the Red Sox, a 2 RBI double. He also scored a run, and all those hits by the lefties came against the left-hander Fernando Abad. So we head to the 8th. Astros leading 4-3. And Tyler White will lead things off, looking for his first hit, facing Matt Barnes, and there's a called strike. Altuve leading the American League in hits this season 4 years in a row outright. Has never happened before in the National League or the American League. There was a string of 5 straight years where Ichiro was tied one year by Dustin Pedroia. We saw play start the first 2 games of this series. So Ichiro was matched by Pedroia one season in the middle of that 5-year run. And no one has won it by themselves 4 straight years until this year, when Jose Altuve had his 200 hits for the 4th straight time, and also leading the American League in hits by a wide margin.
He's pretty good.
I would love to see an MVP go along with that. He deserves it.
That would be awesome.
1-2 the count. If they end up tied for the AL MVP balloting, I think a limbo contest should decide the winner.
You're right.
Between Judge and Altuve, that would be.
How low can you go?
Here's a swing and a miss. Barnes strikes out White for the first out of the 8th. I'll bring up Max Stassi. Stassi started that rally the last inning with a walk, came around to score. As the moon is peeked out beyond downtown Boston. Stassi will be involved in a decision at the end of this day before Thursday, as AJ Hinch, Jeff Luhnow, and their respective staffs try to figure out who that 3rd catcher might be for the postseason, whether it's Max Stassi or Juan Centeno. Stassi down to the count 0-2. We're tossing around how much we enjoyed working in our first season together. Blummer, Julia, myself. We couldn't do it without the guys in the truck all year long. Carl Patterson, CP, getting the job done as our incredibly efficient and prepared producer. Paul Bykowski, Paulie Hustle, our esteemed director. Jerry Blancas, Mike Guccione have been with us all season long. Gooch and Blancas and Cruiser getting the job done. We have the easy part. People see us on TV and they think, man, those guys have fun. They're good. The only reason we're that good and have fun is because those guys allow us to do that.
Yeah, they set us up for success. That is a given. Go through a lot of games throughout the course of the season. We need as much help as anybody as far as getting prepared, and those guys do a great job at it. Pretty cool to hang around them too all throughout the season. They're on those team flights with us. They're grinding away, spending time away from their families, and we have created a very good team, I feel.
A little highlight package you may want to stay tuned for also at the end of our broadcast today. If you want to roll your DVR on that, it's a compilation of all the highlights from the season, and it's one that you might want for your archives to chronicle the 2017 season. 2 strikeouts for Barnes in this inning as he gets Max Stassi for the second out.
Is it going to make me cry?
It's a nice reflective piece.
I'm soft.
I think you can make it through.
Okay, I'm going to battle. Hopefully they turn my headset off and don't put me on camera after.
Hey, Julie, I know we asked you at the end of the final game at Minute Maid Park, and now I'll ask you the same. Kind of a great day to wrap up a fun season, a 100-win season, but it's always a little melancholy here the last few innings of a regular season, isn't it?
Blummer's saying he's a softie. I'm way softer. No, I do. It's, you know, just as much work as we put into this, and it starts before opening day for us. You know, we start having meetings about the season starting January, and then we get straight to work for that first week of spring training, and that's when we get a chance to meet all these guys coming in. I'm shaking Carlos Beltran's hand in February of this year, and just to see the team come together, who makes the team, and of course working with you guys and everyone in our traveling party. All the guys that I've known for the last 5 years and how close we've become. We are family, and so it's all of that together. We get to this point, we get to 162, and it's hard not to get a little emotional about all that we've been through and all the great things that we've seen. And Blummer and I talk a lot about the season that we started and where this entire organization has come. There's so many great people across the franchise that we have to recognize too for making this all really special.
All right, we will have more on that as we head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. It's 4-3 Astros.
The Astros leading the Red Sox in the bottom of the 8th. A lot of Astro fans here at Fenway. That's been another cool part of the season. All the fans that have come and traveled to some of these ballparks. There's a lot of them with their signs, including Addison, who I really enjoyed meeting this year in Toronto. She made a sign for me that said, "What do I eat?" We were at Rogers Center there in Toronto, and so we brought her the entire menu that day, and we tried all of the foods. She was a sweetheart, but really, really cool. I mean, not just to get to know fans, you know, this is one of the more fun parts of my job as I get up there and get to see where all these people are from and when they started falling in love with the Astros, how long have they been fans, but they've really come out this year. And it's been really cool. You hear the woos in all the ballparks that we've gone to. I hope they continue to do that here when the postseason rolls around, TK.
All right, Julia, we're on to the bottom half of the 8th. Ramin Gudwan facing Brock Holt. Ramin getting a chance to pitch in game 162. '22nd game of the year for the lefty. Saw Francis Martez warming up earlier. And Gudwan, when he is around the plate, can bring that 95 with the fastball, and that's strike 2.
He can be highly effective. He is a work in progress, much like Francis Martez for me. Guys with electric stuff, just still trying to figure it out. It's a tough place to learn here at the big league level, but still, if these guys are open to it, this experience will go a long way for them.
Gudwan facing Holt. Also, Rafael Devers due up 2 batters from now, so he'll spot in the lineup where AJ can have Gudwan face 2 out of 3 lefties, or he may just have him face 1 lefty as Martez continues to warm in the bullpen. 4-3 game in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Yuli Gurriel still in the game. He needs at least 2 batters to reach base next inning to get a shot to bat in the 9th. Past Gudwan, coming in Moran, and Collin makes the play, not in time, says Joe West. You may want to look at that one.
AJ's got his hand up, signifying that he does want to have a look at it, or have the guys underneath take a look at it. Or Todd can just look at it.
Well, AJ said, good call, Joe West. You got it. You're right. AJ coming out to talk to Gudwan. This has nothing to do with the play at first. And Gudwan did, in fact, just face 1 batter. He will lead the game, and Francis Martez will come on. We'll tell you about the young 21-year-old when we come back. Inning 4-3 Astros. Runner on base on an infield hit by Brock Holt. And Francis Martez takes over.
There he is, Frankie Tuesday. Made 4 starts on the season. It's his 32nd appearance. Good record at 5-2. That ERA taking a beating here a little bit of late, but still has electric stuff and a real opportunity to be a part of this future Houston Astros ball club.
Facing Vasquez, the DH, who has always hit well here at Fenway Park this season, batting .351 coming in. He's 1 for 3 with a run scored today. Tried to hold up. It was a called strike. It's 1-1. Red Sox scored 3 in the 4th. The Astros scored 4 in the 7th. Been a pretty laid-back crowd today, as you would imagine, the day after the clinch, but now they're getting into it a little bit in this one-run game in the bottom half of the 8th. Called strike. It's 1-2. Just missed at 99. It's 2-2.
That's a pretty good pitch. That was movement down in the zone at 99.
Vasquez watched it and hoped.
I think that locked everybody up.
Swing and a miss. That's how Martez can make a hitter look bad when he throws 99. You know, have to start it pretty quickly. Vasquez strikes out. Time now for our deeper coverage, brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. National League playoffs will begin 1 day later on Wednesday. So the Diamondbacks will play at home against the Rockies on Wednesday, and then the winner of that will take on the Dodgers beginning Friday. Cubs and Nationals also start their series Friday. This year's postseason, and I know a lot of people say it every year, but this year's postseason has a chance to be one of the best. Cubs Nationals, with what the Dodgers have done this year, Astros Red Sox, and what the Indians have done this year. And oh, by the way, the Yankees are a very good 4 seed, and the Diamondbacks are a very good 4 seed in the National League.
No, it really looks like it worked out to the way where some of those teams you anticipated being in the playoffs played well throughout the course of the season. I don't know if there's any real big surprises other than maybe the Minnesota Twins sneaking in there in that wild card. But it's going to be some great matchups.
Yeah, I think it really is one of those postseasons where you wouldn't be shocked. I think you'd be a little shocked if the Twins won a series or even won the wild card. You might be surprised if the Rockies won a series in the National League, but I think those top 4 seeds in each league, it wouldn't be a shock if either of those teams made a run to go all the way. They're that good. 1-1 pitch just misses. It's 2-1. One out, 1 on, 8th inning. Astros holding on to a 4-3 lead.
The league has to be very happy with how things have worked out too. They want to see some good matchups and put on a good show for all the fans. And I think that they do have great matchups this season to give fans that.
Ground ball towards the middle in the shift. Nobody can cover second. And now Holt's going to head to third because J.D. Davis came over to try and help out at second. So it's a ground out, and on the play, Holt smartly goes from first to third.
Yeah, that's heads up, and that's how the shift works sometimes. Initially off the bat, J.D. Davis sprinted over there to try and cover and give Colin Moran an option. And unable to do so, left first base or third base wide open, and young Francis Martez did not go over there to cover. See, JD not going to make it there in time. It was a long way for JD to go. It might have been better for him just to stay at third base instead of trying to have to retreat.
Well, now the tying run at third base with 2 outs, and Martez will face Houston's own Chris Young. Young is 1 for 3, a single and a couple of strikeouts. First pitch, a strike. Tried to hold up. Joe West says, no, you didn't. 0-2. Now Martez 1 pitch away from maintaining this 1-run lead and heading into the 9th. Two and two.
A big pitch for Francis. 3-2 count. Fenway faithful standing up. Tying run at third base. Not the playoffs, but in Francis's mind, it might be a playoff pitch.
He got him. Swing and a miss at 97, and Martez, a good reaction coming off the mound as he was pretty amped up about that strikeout. We head to the 9th. Still 4-3.
Park, and time to reveal the results from today's Chevy Stroh poll. Thanks for following us at ATT Sportsnet SW. We asked you what your favorite Astros road game memory was this season, and the Memorial Day comeback wins with 42% of the vote. An 11-run 8th inning. The Astros took this one from the Twins 16-8 after coming back down 6 runs in that one. I think this is also the game that we saw all 4 seasons. The rain, sunshine, cold weather. There was a little bit of everything that game. It really wrapped up, that series wrapped up a great month for the Houston Astros. A great start to their 2017. Guys, what do you remember about this one?
I remember that play a lot.
Yep.
Eddie Rosario sliding in with Josh Reddick batting. I remember the George Springer delay where he was fired up that he had to wait through a little rain delay.
I remember the donuts.
That's right, Rally Donuts.
That was all you, Julia.
We were very thankful for that, Julia. That was a good day.
The mini donuts.
Yes, the mini donuts in Minnesota are fantastic.
Astros scored 37 runs that series.
I ate that many donuts.
I do remember 28 of those 37 runs came against the Twins bullpen.
Yeah, they got just pummeled.
And then we all walked back and we said, how good is this team?
Yeah,
remember walking back from Target Field that day?
We were a little frightened by how well they came back in that game. When we did ask that question, how good can these guys be? That was unbelievable.
And we all went out to dinner on Nicollet Mall.
Yeah.
Talked about how good this Astros team could be. And they have proven us right. Juan Centeno bats against Joe Kelly, who just threw a pitch 100 miles an hour.
He averages close to 99 miles an hour on his fastball.
Astros need to figure out a way to get 2 runners on somehow to give Yuli Gurriel an at-bat, but one of those runners will not be Juan Centeno. He ends the day 2 for 4 if he doesn't get another AB as he goes down swinging. Centeno drove in the first run of the game for the Astros, part of a 4-run 7th inning. Tyler Clippard, who has saves for 3 different teams this year, may be called on for a save in this game as he's warming up. Yuli looks pretty calm and composed over there. He doesn't look too worried about getting an AB, but if he does, he is 2 for 2 with 2 doubles in his career against Joe Kelly. Here's Derek Fisher. Fisher takes a strike. We've thanked almost everybody today, and we'd be remiss if we didn't thank the most important people on the broadcast, and that's the people watching us back at home. All those that watch us on AT&T Sportsnet year in and year out. A lot of you have passed along comments via Twitter today that we greatly appreciate, and we read all of them.
No, fans have been great. It's been a great season to watch a great team, but it's been great interaction. And it's been great to ride it along with all those Astro fans on the road and at home.
0-2 the count to Derek Fisher. On a personal level, I know the very first month of the season was a trying month for me because of my mom passing, and there were a lot of Astros fans that reached out via email, text, Twitter, and wanted to thank them back in May. I honestly am having trouble now getting through it. I honestly didn't think I could get through it back in May to thank them. So thank you guys very much. It made me feel a big part of your family, and that meant a lot. 0-2 the count. And there's a called third strike. So Fisher goes down. Joe Kelly's come in and picked up a couple of strikeouts. Astros trying to close out the regular season with a victory against Boston, take 3 out of 4 from the Red Sox, and win the season series 4-3. They may not get another AB for Yuli Gurriel. They need Colin Moran to get on base, and they need Tony Kemp to get on base. As Moran bats with 2 outs and nobody on. Moran with a single, RBI his last time up. He is 1 for 2. Yuli was ready. He wants a shot. But he wants a shot in the 9th inning.
Yeah, he does. You're right.
He doesn't want that other possibility of how he could get at bat. 3-0. A lot of games have gone final. The Astros are the last team in the American League West still playing. The Angels defeated the Mariners and the Rangers lost to the A's. So the Angels finished second in the AL West, 80 and 82. Seattle and Texas finished tied for third at 78 and 84. And having the best month of September, other than the Astros and the AL West, the Oakland A's came on strong, and they finished 75 and 87. Only 3 games behind the Mariners and the Rangers.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the Chicago White Sox and in the 3-game series in Chicago and a 4-game series in Oakland, the Astros record might be drastically different. Get swept in Chicago by the White Sox, and then recently get swept by the A's in Oakland in a 4-game series.
The A's have some good young bats. One team to be reckoned with some of those young 20-something offensive players they have. Moran was ahead of the count. Now it's 3-2 as Kelly tries to strike out the side. Instead, he issues a walk. So now Yuli goes to the on-deck circle, and Tony Kemp is the hitter.
Number 18, Tony Kemp.
Kemp has been on base with a single, an RBI his last time up. He also stole a base. He's 1 for 4.
He's got to get all up on the dish right now, doesn't he?
Get hit. Take
From
one for
101 miles an hour. I don't know about that.
Yeah, really.
We all like Yuli, but I don't know about that.
You want to be a good teammate, but that's extreme. 1-0 the count. Well, you'd love to at least see Yuli get a shot. Somehow, some way. He just missed a hit last time, ended up being a sac fly on a line drive to right field. Sitting at 299, needed to go 3 for 4 today, or 3 for 3. He's currently 2 for 3. Kemp into center field. On comes Bradley. And for now, Yuli won't get an AB. Bradley puts it away for the final out of the 9th. 4-3. We head to the bottom of the 9th. Baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Toyota. Let's go places. The clinching day, Minute Maid Park, 2 weeks ago today. The celebration was on as the Astros wrapped up their first division title in 16 years. Winning the American League West and becoming the first team ever to win a division title in 3 different divisions. George Springer, who else, would lead the charge around the stadium. It was a magical day at Minute Maid Park. People in the city of Houston have been through so much this summer, and to galvanize a city and have one common cause, cheering on your Houston Astros, really meant a lot during some difficult times. And the Astros, A.J. Hinch and company, celebrating in the locker room. And shortly after that, Plummer and Julia made their way in there and conducted some great interviews. Pretty much the whole roster as we head to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Tyler Clippard on, try and save this game for the Astros and give them victory number 101 of the season.
3 teams this season for Tyler Clippard. He's a pretty popular guy, making 67 appearances.
This will be Clippard's first year in a while that he hasn't pitched in at least 69 games. He had the longest running streak in the major leagues coming into this season. 67 appearances isn't anything to shake your head at either. Facing Jackie Bradley Jr. puts one on the ground. J.D. Davis is there, and that's one out. Yuli Gurriel on his way out to the field. Got a big hug from Alex Bregman in the dugout after the last inning. Kind of frustrating for Yuli. He didn't get a chance there as he was in the on-deck circle. He may fall just shy of hitting 300. He doesn't get another AB. Sam Travis bats. He is grounded into a double play, grounded out, and flied out to center field. It's a great sliding catch by Tony Kemp when Travis was retired the first time. Astros trying to close with a 53rd road win to increase their team record in that category. They scored 501 runs on the road this season. Top 10 all-time in Major League Baseball history, and top 4 for teams not in the 1930 New York Yankees group. This guy with 4 straight 200-hit seasons, leading the American League in hits outright for the 4th straight year. Winning his 3rd batting title. In the air to center field. Kemp is back. He is right on the warning track now as he makes the play for out number 2.
Player of the game is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. It is the MVP, if I had a vote. Jose Altuve winning his 3rd AL batting title in the last 4 seasons. That .346 average. According to Baseball Reference, he is the league leader, major league leader, with an 8.4 WAR number. He has done literally everything for the Houston Astros and deserves all the recognition he is going to get through the postseason and with some of the postseason awards.
His previous best final average .341 in 2014. This year he ends at .346. Also hit .338 last year. Matched his home run total for last season when he hit 24 home runs. Drove in 81, scored 112. As Tyler Clippard's ahead 0-2, facing Blake Swihart. Astros trying to close out this season with a victory and take 3 out of 4 from the team they're about to play in the postseason. Marwin ends up leading the team with 90 runs batted in. Justin Verlander with a perfect 5-0 record in September. If Altuve had a glove, he would have made the final out.
Still playing the game. Don't worry about it, guys. It's out of play.
Pretty good group right there to head into the postseason with. That'll do it. The Astros win 101 games in 2017. They take 3 out of 4 from the Boston Red Sox, winning the season series 4-3. And they will next see the Red Sox Thursday at Minute Maid Park in Game 1 of the American League Division Series. The Astros win it 4-3. They score 501 runs on the